Hello, my name is Jake Anderson. I wish I could be there tonight with you guys to celebrate everyone's accomplishment in their research studies. And unfortunately, I had a couple prior obligations with coaching that I have to take care of here in Eden Valley. So that's why I'm not able to attend there with you guys tonight. But I wish I was. So first of all, if my research study that I did was on the interactivity of the interactive whiteboard and its effect on student learning and student engagement. It was a topic that I feel pretty strongly about, a topic that I wanted to do because it's a technology that I had in my classroom that I could, use it beyond just this study to benefit my students. So before we get started kind of delving into the information, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a 5th grade teacher in Eden Valley, Watkins. This is my 7th year teaching. I'm originally from Newfoundland, Minnesota, which is the true northern part of the state, up by Thief River Falls, a little north of there. I got my bachelor's degree from Bemidji State University. I got my teaching license as elementary education, and then I'm also licensed in 5 to 8 mathematics. And then I have a wife, a beautiful wife, Katie, and our son, Cash, which is 2.5 months old. So finishing up the research study and stuff and being a new papa was definitely a very busy and exciting time. So first of all, why this topic? Why did I choose this? Well, it's a technology that our school has done a great job implementing. It's a technology that all our classrooms in our school here in the elementary have a smartboard. And I think it's a great thing to utilize the technology that you have. Oftentimes at schools you have people that complain that we don't have the newest technology, we don't have one-to-one iPads, we don't have all this stuff. And oftentimes they forget that they need to utilize the things that they do have. So I wanted to take something that I had and I wanted to utilize it more efficiently in my classroom. And then just previous research about it. In my student teaching years ago, I was right when they started to really take off, and I really enjoyed using it during my student teaching process. And reading, I did a couple papers on it during our classes through St. Scholastica about the smartboard and the interactivity and all of its advantages for students, and it was something that I wanted to kind of look further into. Statement of the problem. My purpose for this research study is to research how using an interactive whiteboard may enhance student learning and increase student engagement in an elementary classroom. We want to be able to show that the use of this technology is going to enhance the students' growth and then also make them more involved into the classroom. My plan is I'm going to address this problem with my 5th grade class. I have a class of about 18 5th grade students, which is a great number, and I'm going to address this by comparing their learning experience with both the interactive teaching style and a non-interactive teaching style, or what I'll refer to as a traditional teaching style. So, how will this research add to the field of research that's already out there? There is an abundant amount of research done on the interactive whiteboard because it is a technology that has been around for a while. The main thing that I like with this research is it focuses, one, on its effect on teachers. It's tough for teachers it's tough for them to kind of get used to a new type of teaching. And with the interactive whiteboard, it's more student-centered learning. Okay? It's more based on their interaction with what they're learning instead of just me talking to them. It promotes interactive teaching and learning. Most use this technology. It's a constant learning experience. It's not something where they just hear something and they have to bring it in their brains, and they have to process it. A lot of times kids, and what I use this for, is kids can come up here and they can do what you're trying to teach them and interact with the whiteboard. Another thing is there's been studies on student engagement. Okay, there's different styles of learning today. And the interactive whiteboard has shown through research that there's a spike in the students' engagement level in the classroom. And when you can get students more engaged, you can get them more in tune to what's going on up here, their engagement level is gonna go up, and their their learning is gonna be enhanced as well. It also shows in my math class, I have a middle-low mixed math class. There's probably 5 to 7 kids in my math class that really struggle in mathematics, and a lot of them have learning disabilities, and it's something that's becoming more prevalent in today's society as we're getting more and more special education cases, more and more children with these learning disabilities. And the whiteboard relies on the fact that most students have strong visual processing skills, and they can process instructional directions and content when presented in a visual format. And I think that's very important when we're using this technology, that we address those needs. And that's why one thing I look at with this research study is that little subgroup of those bottom 5 to 7 students to see how they responded to the interactive teaching as well. And it's self-motivating. It's a self-motivating technology where the kids see this up there, they see you interacting on the board, and they want to become part of the lesson. And that's another very important and huge aspect of their educational experience. So now we get to the procedure. What did I actually do in my research study? The first thing that I did is I gave them a student survey to start the study, and this survey is just on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. Answer the following questions. And I had them answer things like, how much do you use technology in your math class? How much do you enjoy your math class? How often do you find yourself daydreaming in class? How often do you find yourself distracted in math class? How much do you like how the teacher teaches the math class? And I've kind of focused on those questions and had them answer from 1 to 10. They were anonymous questions. No one knew who they were. It's just to get an honest, opinion about their experience. And what I found through this, I gave that at the beginning, and then I taught the traditional teaching methods. I taught the way I have always been teaching. Straight from the textbook, using our curriculum, and not changing anything. Yeah, we still drew things up on the whiteboard, but it wasn't an interactive lesson. And so I did that, and then I went on and I taught 2 weeks of interactive teaching. And during these 2 weeks of interactive teaching, we had in the traditional teaching, we had line graphs, stem and leaf plots, and histograms, and then how to read graphs. Those were the topics we covered with the traditional teaching. Then when we went to the interactive teaching, the first thing we talked about was pictographs. And what I did for a lesson for that is I created the Eden Valley Watkins football helmet. And I created 40 of these mini helmets on the board, and I had a pictograph that they had to create. And what we focused on the Eden Valley Watkins football wins over the past 5 seasons. And we talked about how the helmet would represent 1 win, and then the kids had to come up here and they had to move and create the pictograph based on the data that was supplied. And having them being able to come up here and manipulate the data, move it up on the smartboard, they were instantly engaged. And then another thing, to relate it to things that they deal with every day, like Eden Valley Watkins sports, got them interested as well. The next thing we did was bar graphs. And with the bar graphs, we asked a survey question. What was their favorite type of food? And then we compiled our data set based on that. And then we created a bar graph. And we talked about the importance in the bar graph of labeling our X and Y axis. We talked about the importance of having a title, okay? Labeling our X and Y axis, okay? Those different things. And then we had them create with the shapes and the tools. They could come up and create the actual data set that we produced. And they could fill in the bars with different colors with the fill color option. They could put patterns in there. Just different things that, you know, don't seem like much, but it got them fired up for what they were doing. We did a double bar graph where we focused on Central Minnesota Conference baseball win-loss records for the 2012 season, baseball season. And we did the kind of same tools that we use for the single bar graphs. The circle graphs, we did a survey question where we asked them what was their favorite type of music. And we were able to have them draw a circle and work with the shape tools, all that, and fill in a circle graph. Have them do that. And it was just a good experience with the test. And then after that, I had them take the post-research survey. And it was the exact same survey that they took at the beginning, but now at the end. And when I analyzed those results, the how often do you use technology in math class, it went up a whole 2 points. The average was a 5.89, and after it was an 8.10. How much do you enjoy math class? It went up a half a point. Okay, it increased. How often do you find yourself daydreaming? And it went down a quarter of a point. How often do you find yourself distracted in math class? It went down. How much do you like how the teacher teaches the math class? It went up. So it showed things in the right sense of that way. So now when we analyze the data or the grades from that, we have to look at, you know, how did it enhance student learning? And if you look at that, the class averages in the traditional teaching style was 63% on their homework and 61% on their assessment. 63 on their homework, 61 on their assessment. So not the greatest. Now remember, this is a lower math class, so they're at pretty close to their ability level. But with the interactive teaching, after being exposed to the interactive teaching, having them come up there, maneuver things on the board, their homework for that 2-week period was at an 85%. Their assessment that they took was an 86%. I mean, just great results for that. If you look at that bottom subgroup that I talked about, that 5 to 7 students, their homework percentage for the traditional teaching was 48%. Their test was 53%. After the interactive teaching, their homework was 77% and their test was 80%. From my data here, what I gathered, I cannot help but saying that this technology enhances student learning. The number of late assignments from the traditional teaching went from 9 during the traditional teaching to 2 during the interactive. That shows me that my students are more engaged in what they are doing. So I cannot help but say that from my data that I collected, that it does increase student engagement as well. So in conclusion, what can I say? The impact on me is that I wish I could use this technology and come up with these lessons every single day. There's just a lot of time constraints with this profession. We just don't have enough time to do these things. It's something that I'm going to make a conscious effort in the future to do more of, is to make sure to make my lessons interactive, because I can see the benefits that it has for not only my upper level students, but my students that struggle. I hope to be able to share my information with my colleagues, share them with my fellow teachers, teach them a thing or two that I've learned during this, share with some of the research that I've come upon. And then future research. I'd like to see this done over not just a 4-week period, but over a year-long study during the school year. I think we could get better information. I think we could do a bigger sample size. Look at the different demographics of different places. I mean, there's just so much we can do with the future research. So overall, when I looked at what I was asking myself, did the interactive teaching, did it enhance student learning? Did it increase student engagement? And I really, truly believe that it did. So thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry again that I couldn't be there with you. I hope that you guys are all very proud of what you've accomplished. It's been a long 2 years, and I know it takes a lot of time to do what we've done. So congratulations, and best of luck to you all in the future. Thank you.